Right, what's up YouTube? As you can see, I have got another new truck. Got rid of the 1995 F250 and my 2000 F250, and I got a F350. This is a 2002 4x4 F350 with the Powerstroke. It's the 7.3 Powerstroke diesel. As you can see, I'm already working on it. I already put a new air filter on there. It was really dirty K&N filter. I already replaced that. Just cleaning up underneath the hood a little bit. And I got to the point where I was changing the fuel filter here, and it's completely stuck on there. Normally, this is a Wix style oil filter. Normally it would have a 1-inch socket that you just remove the top part with, and the rest is all smooth. I wasn't able to get it off with that plastic nut on top. It kept just stripping on me, and I tried a couple of different other methods. I tried a 1-inch socket. I couldn't get the 1-inch socket. Then I tried a breaker bar with a 15/16, hammered that on there, still couldn't get it to come off. And so what I built now was this. As you can see, I got this metal strap here with 2 bolts through it and a couple of nuts holding that in place, and I think I might actually be able to get it off. All right, so here's a look at the old cap that was overly tightened on and the holes I drilled in it to get it off. You can see I tried chiseling it off. I tried using the nut. Don't care for the Wix style filter. Prefer the kind that have the notches that you can kind of hammer on and knock loose when you need to. So there's the old ring, the old seal. And there's another one that goes right here, and you can see this one's pretty expanded. So I'm gonna leave that one out, and I've got a new one to put in. It is a cheap one. They were out of the Motorcraft, so I'm just gonna use this micro guard one that they had in stock, and probably change it again here pretty soon. It shouldn't be such a pain now that I've got the cap loosened. I'm not gonna He-Man it back on there too tight. I'm just gonna put it on there at regular tightness, so it's nice and snug and seals, but not too tight to where the next guy has to muscle it off of there like I did with this custom tool. I'm gonna go ahead and drain the rest of the fuel out. You can see there's a little valve in the back here. If you move that to the rear, it will drain. And then what I want to do is try and get everything out of the bottom of it down there. Hey, I'll get this all clean. There's some little bit of rust down in there, and I want to make sure I get any plastic that fell down in there when I was drilling the cap out. I want to make sure I get all that out and get it clean before I put the new fuel filter on. So I got one O-ring right there, and I got this other seal kind of right here that just goes around the top. So we're gonna put it in there. This one, the filter's attached to the lid. So I've used these kind before. This is a micro guard filter, and I'm not going to over tighten it this time. Wait, what is that? Look at that. It's a random O-ring. I wonder if that's from the old oil filter. That may have been one of the reasons it was so hard to get out, or maybe why it wasn't starting as fast as it should be. It kind of has a sluggish start, kind of a long crank, and I wonder if that extra O-ring was causing some sort of restriction down in there. That's funny. All right, so you can see on the bottom there where I've cleaned it out, the bottom of the bolt's cleaned out. You can try and get over on the right side. You don't want to damage this element down in the bottom of your fuel bolt. All right, Let's see, I got it as clean as I could down in there. Fairly clean. Just used a screwdriver, paper towel, kind of poked it around. You want to be real careful not to break. All right, now a couple of things I'm putting in other than just the new fresh fuel filter. I'm going to go ahead and just use a little bit of 1040 just to lubricate the seal around the top. I'm also using some of this QD electronic cleaner. I didn't have any carb cleaner or anything like that. And this is a relatively quick drying cleaner to clean out the bottom of the fuel bowl. So I used that for spraying out the fuel bowl. And then I filled the fuel bowl about half full with some of this sea foam. This is for gas and diesel engines. And if you use 100% sea foam for diesel injector cleaning machines or when priming diesel fuel filters, which is exactly what we're doing here. We're priming a diesel fuel filter. So got the sea foam in there, cleaned it all up with the electronics first, and I just lubed up the seal a little bit with the 10W40 I had laying around. It doesn't have to be 1040, it could be any kind of oil or even just a little bit of diesel, but just something to kind of make it so that the plastic doesn't catch on the O-ring and it lets it tighten down nice and smooth. As clean as possible, guys. I'm ready to put the new fuel filter on. So here's my new fuel filter right here. It's going to go, of course, with that side facing down. I got the O-ring on there already. On this side there's an O-ring right here on the bottom part, and then there's another seal that sits on top where the lid's at. So it's really simple, just put it down in there. We do want to make sure before you do anything, make sure you close in the back, push the little valve there. You want to make sure first of all that you push the little valve closed in the back so that the fuel doesn't leak out when you go to fill the bowl back up. Like I mentioned before, I got an O-ring on the bottom and there's a seal on the top. So seal on the top sits right about like that. This one has a ridge on the top and the bottom, so it doesn't really matter which way it's facing. So here we go. I'm just going to put this on here. I've already got the sea foam in there, and we just want to make sure we don't cross thread as we're starting. Just go nice and slow, and you'll feel it start to snug up on there as it's tightening down. Thread it on there hand tight. Make sure you don't cross thread it. Cross threading on there or anything like that. All right, so I got the new lid on. Just gonna go hand tight until I can't turn it anymore by hand, and then I'll just take a piece of wood, stick it on one of those ribs, and give it a couple of taps. That should be more than enough to seal it up tight. It should not leak that way, and I should be able to get it loose by just tapping it in the opposite direction this time without having to drill holes and do all that. So now I'm just going to see if I can get it to start. I've got the sea foam in there. I need to prime it a little bit more to fill the bowl completely up, and before I put the cover and things back on, I'm just going to make sure that it's not leaking. All right, so inside the cab here, see, I got my oil filter for the oil change I'm going to do soon. Just going to go ahead and turn the key to on, but not start it. Similar to you would if you were turning the glow plugs on. Now, again, I'm just cycling the key from off to on, and I could hear the fuel pump down below.